Hey guys, what's up? It's summertime and that means it is festival time. I'm getting ready to head out to a music festival in a couple days to do some audio and lighting. And I figured it'd be a great opportunity to show you guys how I transform this car behind me into a camper for 2 weeks. I'm gonna walk you through all the gear I use, the layout I use, how I stay cool at night, how I get power, all of that, and how I can make camping out at a festival super easy, super breezy. Now, everything I'm gonna show you today is a result of years and years of trial and error and camping out and being uncomfortable. I used to camp in tents, and I just quickly realized, that is not the move if you're going to be out there for weeks on end. Now, hopefully this video will help you guys avoid some of the uncomfortable trial and errors that it takes to get a clean setup. The really nice thing about this setup is once you have it down to a T, you can get set up and broken down in about an hour flat, maybe even less. This is a super, super quick setup. And that is so nice when it's time to, roll out of the festival and you don't want to tear tents and stuff down. There's just a couple things I got to do, throw it in the back of my trunk, and then I'm out. I can just drive away. And it is so nice, especially on that, that morning after when you have been going hard for weeks. It is just so nice. The first and most important thing about this setup is you got to have an SUV. I got a Honda Pilot right here. All I do is I put the back seats down all the way. I take out my weather mat, and I'm gonna start replacing everything in here with a setup that is livable for multiple weeks at a time. First things first, we got to build a foundation. Here I have some moon mats that I bought at a music festival a few years back. I got 2 of them, and these are literally just sheets of earplugs. All these little cutouts are literally like earplugs, but these things are super squishy, and if it's late at night and you can't sleep because of the noise, you can usually find some extra little earplugs laying around in them. They do leave these kind of all over my car, but it's all right. It doesn't drive me crazy that much. I like to use 2 of them just because it gives me that little extra amount of plush and I can spread them out over the side. Now, in the past, I have used that as my only cushioning, but nowadays I like to also add a memory foam cooling mattress topper on top. And it just helps me. I'm a side sleeper. It just helps me get a little bit more comfortable, especially when it's like a really, really long festival. And during the setup, I'm usually out trudging in the woods, laying lights down in the woods. I have to dig trenches for wires and stuff, so I usually come back sore. I want something nice and plush and cushiony to sleep on. This is my mattress topper. I got this for about 20 bucks on Amazon, and I just cut it down to fit around all like the console stuff on the side of my car so that it's like a perfectly snug fit. And here I cut these little grooves so that I can tuck it back in my seats if I close them. Like the seat headrest, when I push them down, will actually just keep this down, which makes a big difference in just making sure it stays in place and I don't have to constantly readjust. I will link all of this stuff down in the description so you can easily just copy my entire setup. But yeah, most of this stuff you can just buy on Amazon. So on top of my mattress, I'll put a cooling blanket. And this thing was a lifesaver at the last festival I went to. It was my first time trying this guy out. And it kept the entire thing about 15 to 20 degrees cooler. Now, in the summer, a car can heat up really, really fast. It's really important to keep it as cool as possible, especially in the mornings, or you're gonna be waking up at 7 or 8 a.m. every morning, and nobody wants to do that. So I'm gonna show you all the tricks that I have to keep my car as cool and as comfortable as it can possibly be, and trust me, you will not be waking up with night sweats. Okay, if you're like me, you have to sleep with a blanket, even if it's ridiculously hot. And so for my actual blanket that I use over me, this is like a bamboo waffle weave blanket, and I found that it just keeps me super cool. I barely feel it, and I think the name of the game is really avoiding polyesters or anything fuzzy, anything that's gonna make you feel warm at all, because trust me, you don't need it in the summer. And if you really get cold at night, just throw on a hoodie or something. It's not worth having all the extra fluff in your car. It gets nightmarish sometimes in the summer. All right, guys, so a subtle little touch that I have added to my car, and I actually keep these up all year long because it's a pain to restring and unstring, is these little fairy lights. And I just have a bunch of batteries in here, and I put them in here, and there's a switch, and that gives me all the light that I need at night instead of having to fumble around with a flashlight. It is very nice, very nice, very nice. However, for Christmas, my mom got me this really cool looking lamp. And this is a solar powered lamp. And the cool thing about this is it's actually a housing for all of these little string lights. So I can pull this out and clip this onto anything, and I can put string lights up super easily anywhere. Anyway, I'm gonna link this because this is just the coolest little like lamp I've ever seen, and really what it's great for is like tent camping and stuff. I've used it on my hammock because you can just use it as a lamp, and then when you want some string lights or extra ambience, you can just extend all these, and it extends a long way. All right, so this has gotten us a good start. I'm gonna flash forward into the future because I have an ice bath and sauna session that I wanna go to, and I don't wanna have all of my gear in my car while I leave that in a parking lot. All right, I'm gonna flash forward right now. I think the most exciting piece of gear, and the one that has been most transformative for me as a car camper, has been this right here. This is a Fantic solar panel, and this opens up and sits on top of my roof, which I tie down with a lock and put the cable running through my sunroof down into a battery pack that then charges everything that I need it to charge, including fans to keep me cool. And I have specific ones that I'll show you that are the most power savvy ones that I have been able to find. So this piece of gear is so essential. If I could recommend anything, it would be to pick this up and the next item that I'm about to show you. All right, so here is the next item, and this is an Anker battery pack. This guy is awesome. So what I'll do is I'll plug the solar panel right into here, and I added this extra little Anker car adapter that has 2 USB-C ports, and I put that in here. That gives me an extra 2 outputs. The nice thing about this is it also has actual like Edison outputs. So this will go like kind of usually sitting on my center console so that the cable will reach down to it, and then through this I have cables running out to fans, cables charging my phone, my iPad, anything else that I need to charge overnight. And using this battery supply, the fans will keep me cool all night. Like, I don't have to worry about it getting hot, and especially in the morning, you know, I can blast those fans and I'm gonna be good. And it will recharge every single day to 100% as long as we got some sunshine, and as long as you're parked somewhere where, you know, trees aren't blocking all of the light that you get from the sun. So this is so crucial. The combo setup especially, I can't recommend this enough. This changes the whole game, and theoretically you could do it, you know, even if you're tent camping. But I just find being able to put it on top of your car is super, super clutch. So I like to keep my battery, all my cables, like USB-C, an extra Edison cable if I need some reach, the lock for my solar panel. I like to keep all of that in here. This is a little mini duffel from the company Rains. It's pretty waterproof, has like PU coating on the top, and I just like to make sure, you know, my battery and my cables never get wet. So when they're in storage, they just kind of stay in here. And then it's really easy to grab all of that stuff whenever I'm trying to pack out my car, because it's kind of a constant rotation, and it's nice to just be able to grab things and go. So this will go right in here. So here are those fans I was talking about. I got these off of Amazon. They're from a company called Svincal. They're super small, so like easy to move around. But they have these little gator clips on them, and I can clip these onto like the handles towards the roof of my car so that I can like keep them by the window pointing down and make sure I have a lot of airflow. But the really nice thing about these is the fact that these have internal batteries. So these are USB-C, rechargeable, and maintain their own battery supply. The great thing about that is, as my battery is charging through the day, I have the USBs plugged into these, and the solar panel is also charging these because it's using pass-through charging on that Anker thing. So when night comes, it's not immediately drawing from my battery. I actually have a little bit of reserve in these, and these will make it through most of the night without even touching my battery. So that's been really, really nice. It's just, you know, extra power storage and super clutch. And if I really wanted to take this anywhere, you know, I can just unplug it and take it, and it's got a little battery supply. So yeah, these have been really, really awesome. All right, so the next thing is got to be my Pelican Workbox. I got to take this to pretty much every festival I go to. It's just got a plethora of little things that I may need. You know, it's got my tools in there. It's got cables, you know, extra turnarounds and stuff. I might make a separate video and just do like a whole Pelican walkthrough because this thing has been super clutch. But for now, you know, just Workbox, what I got to take. All right, the next thing I have, which I'm actually still packing out, I'm doing some laundry right now, but this is my biggest duffel bag. It is a 90-liter duffel bag, and for a 2-week, you know, trip, I like to have fresh clothes every day. I am not one of those people who can work all day in the sun and, you know, in the woods and getting dirty and then just not have clean clothes the next day. It drives me crazy. So I really need 2 weeks worth of clothes, and this is one of the biggest duffels that I've been able to find. It is massive, and it has like a built-in divider in there, although I use packing cubes because it just keeps everything really neat. It really is just kind of like a black hole. Normally I travel around with a Peak Design duffel bag for like kind of smaller trips, smaller festivals, but for a 2-weeker, you know, I want that extra big bag. So obviously this isn't packed out yet, so it's not going to go in the car just yet. I'm going to put this back inside. But if you're wondering what this is, it's the Eagle Creek Cargo Hauler 90-liter. It has served me well, and it is very, very weather resistant. A couple years ago, before I started car camping, I actually pulled up to the festival site with all my stuff, started pitching my tent, and it started pouring rain. Everything got soaked, and it was miserable, but I was so relieved when I opened this up and none of my clothes had a drop of water on them. I can't even imagine how miserable that week would have been if all my clothes got soaked out from the beginning. So I cannot recommend this enough. This one is clutch. So if you've ever been on site for a festival, you know that the shower situation can be kind of crazy. Because of that, I like to keep all my stuff like ready to go in case I see, you know, no one's at the shower line. I can quickly grab it and have all my stuff. So I keep a towel, a bathing suit, all my soaps, my shampoos, everything like that right in here. And this is a tote bag from Topology. It's got like a really nice like a rope handle, and it's just like ready to go. So I can go to my car, grab this, throw this around, and I'll usually keep my sleeping clothes in here too. So like I get out of the shower, pop those on, have some clothes that I know aren't like super filthy, and just get back to my car and go to sleep. So this is has been really nice. I've used this on tour. I've used this at festivals. It has been fantastic. All right, so you never know what the front of house situation is going to be, if they have chairs for you or not. So I have this really, really cheap just fold out chair that I take along with me. I have a nicer one that sometimes I'll take to go to like, you know, day gigs. It has like lumbar support and like is way comfortable. But honestly, for a festival where I'm there for a long period of time, this is great because if this gets stolen or wet or damaged, I really don't care because this was maybe like $20 and things get lost all the time. So I would rather just have something I don't really care about in this situation. So this is going in the car. All right, so this next one, I don't find that much use for all the time, but I know if I didn't bring it, I would want it. This is a just portable Bluetooth speaker. This is the Sony Alt, and you know, sometimes when you're chilling in your car, you want to have some tunes going, and it's nice when it actually fills up your car a little bit. So this one is cool because I can like hang it in different ways using this strap, and but normally I'll just put it in like a cup holder or something. So this is a new one. This is a gift from my girlfriend. It's the Nomadix gym towel, and I'm thinking this time I'm just gonna hang this up somewhere in my car and just use it as like a dirt cloth or something. If I need to wipe my hands off or anything like that, having this might be super clutch. Or if there's like a spill in my car, I have something like ready to go really fast. Shout out to my girl for this one. Okay, so these are very simple but very effective tools. These are bug screens for your car windows. So you can roll your car windows down at night and you are basically in a tent. You have airflow to the outside, and that is honestly one of the most clutch things ever because you want some airflow, but you don't want all the bugs getting in. So I have one of these for each of my windows, and then I have one for my sunroof as well. And that one is awesome because, like I said, I have a little crack for my cable to run through from my solar panel, and I want to cover that up so that bugs can't get in my car because, once you got a car full of bugs, it sucks. So these are really awesome, super cheap on Amazon, and I just keep them in my car all the time, ready to go in my little, door pockets on either side. It's one of the few things that I have to actually set up when I get there, but they're really nice. Something I don't have right now, I got to pick up on this at the store on the way there. But I always take 2 large trash bags with me. One is for laundry, and I keep that in my front seat. And the other, I hang on my outside door, and I just use that as my trash bag for the week, or in this case, 2 weeks. It's very rare that I fill the entire thing up, and it's really nice to just have somewhere to, keep your site clean. I don't want trash inside my car because it'll start to stink. So 2 trash bags is all you need, and it's nice to keep your laundry separate from everything else, especially if you're, actually like working through one of these festivals. Your clothes just get super dirty. The other thing that I like to keep under my car is a cooler of some type. I like to keep some cold drinks. Lately, I've actually just been taking a lot of my own food and, keeping meat on ice. My cooler of choice is, of course, the Yeti cooler. There are a lot of coolers on the market. There are definitely coolers that are better than the Yeti. Now, despite there being better coolers on the market, I have found that Yeti has met all my needs. I think it looks the best, especially like sticker bombed, and it has given me something to put all of my stickers on, which has been great. Honestly, Yeti is just such a classic. I feel like when you think about coolers, Yeti is the first one that comes to mind, and there's something to be said about that. Maybe it's good marketing, but honestly, I think it is a great product. One tip I would say before you go, the day before you go, you gotta put ice in your Yeti. You gotta pre-chill your cooler. It will make your cooler last a day longer, at least. Don't mind all the muscle milk. That's gonna be part of what I'm keeping in here. I'm just cooling them all down. I have been cutting really hard. I'm on a diet right now. I've lost close to 30 pounds, and I've been eating a bunch of protein. So I'm taking a bunch of meat with me, a bunch of protein shakes, and I'm actually making some protein ice cream with a Ninja Creami. Let me know if you want me to do a review on the Ninja Creami. That is probably the biggest hack of my entire diet, and it has allowed me to drop weight like crazy. Yeah, so cool your cooler down the night before. It'll last a lot longer. All right, so I just want to give a quick honorable mention to the backpack of choice for this festival. This is the Venture 26 liter day pack from Bellroy. This thing has been great. It's super durable. I managed to grab it on sale for about 150 bucks. I actually don't think they make this colorway anymore. That's why it was on sale. But it has been so awesome. And I don't feel bad about, tossing this thing around. It's got, a couple pockets in here. Really great storage. I might do a standalone review just on this bag itself. but gotta take a backpack of some sort, and this is my backpack of choice. So I briefly mentioned my Ninja Creami, and here I have a pretty cool accessory that I found called the Hydro-Peak Food Jar. This is the 32-ounce version, and this just allows me to, make my Ninja Creami ice cream, and I put it in here, seal it up, and I'm gonna put these in my Yeti and just have some frozen, protein ice cream for after I get off of these long days setting up the festival. Nice little treat when I get back. I'm hoping it keeps pretty well. I've never done it before, so we'll see. But I have a bunch of them, so I'm also considering keeping some of my meats in here, just to keep everything extra insulated. So it's advertised to keep things cold for 16 hours, and I think in a Yeti it'll keep it colder for even longer. I'm gonna freeze these overnight so they are super cold and ready to go. I think that really is the hack with things like these. Yeah, definitely check these out. Anyway guys, that pretty much covers my entire camping setup. There's not much more to it than that. I am gonna show some footage that I get from this festival for you guys to enjoy. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing and dropping a like. I would love to keep making this type of content for you. Drop a comment if you guys have any questions about the gear that I used in this video, or if you have any suggestions for gear that I should add to my setup. I am always looking for new stuff to get my hands on. I'd love to talk to you guys more about what it's like to be a lighting designer for concerts and festivals, and the gear and tech that goes into my job. I really love my job. I'm really fortunate to be able to do it. I want to drop as much, knowledge that I have obtained from this job and pass it on to you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you next time.